Thanks for this kind introduction. Can I get my, or I'll get the screen share? Okay, good. Well, it's an amazing time, but I've been not there as a consultant telling regional airport managers what they can do in order to get their airport profitable, because when I was managing director on my own, the least what I wanted was some consultants telling me how I have to do my job. But what I can do is providing some global ideas and a framework how to survive this change, and to how to get maybe ideas and approaches in an organized way. And so this is actually what is my presentation is about. Can I please get the next slide? So it's quite easy. In order to think about the future, we have to think about the actual situation. And even before COVID and before Corona, regional airports already had financial issues. But now, when we talk after Corona, we see that this situation has worsened. So airlines are using, sorry for telling this, but of course they have to use this situation in order to renegotiate the airport charges, and in order to get more support, more marketing support from the airports, and maybe more incentives. And so the airports are competing for the capacities of airlines at the expense of airport charges. Very well understood, and I understand this perfectly, but this is just a bad news for the airport business model. And when we go on now, please leave the slide, whatever, keep it. But when we look at this, at the second part of the revenue side of the airports, we also have the problem that the non-aviation charges or non-aviation revenues are changing as well. There's a lot of pressure on that because the typical travel value business is just declining. So revenues per passengers have declined over the last years, and there is no sign that this will stop. Whereas bigger airports can change their offer and extend the shops and extend the food and beverage outlets, regional airports have a limitation because of the lack of the critical mass. So the funding gap of regional airports is increasing, and simultaneously, the public shareholders, the public stakeholders are not really prepared to put more money into the regional airports, as there is a certain reluctance of the public to accept that airports get more money, because airports are seen as the aviation, as the CO2 footprint creators. So actually, it's not really easy for politicians to allocate money to the airport. So we have a finance and an acceptance issue. So it's time for a new business model. So please, the next slide, please. So when we look at the typical airport business model and development plan, life has changed a lot. Say 20 years ago, it was rather easy, but still a very engineering part to develop a master plan. Nowadays, all these business models and development plans are still impacted and influenced by a lot of changes, be it changes by environmental issues, the airline business models, technologies, the regulation, of course, markets, real estate development, and of course, very important, the customer behavior. How will people travel in the future? When will people travel? Will it come back to the old path? So actually, is there a chance for airports to come back to the profitability path without changing the business model? I would say there are a lot of threats from these changes, but the good thing is from all changes, there always come some opportunities. So let's talk about the opportunities, because when the world changes and the changes and we have to accept that changes will happen, and changes will happen very frequently, but we will never know when and how. And so I think we are just in line with other industries who have lived with this situation of constant change for a long time and succeed, because change means also that the cards are shuffled all the time, frequently from the start. And so we always have a new chance to get a better stake in the industry. Can I get the next slide, please? So airport management, and when you run a regional airport, means you have to juggle a lot of balls at the same time. You have to keep them in the air, and all this variety of tasks and responsibilities have to be in line, so that the system runs smoothly and hopefully profitable. But an airport manager needs to be an expert in non-aviation and commercial activities, as well as in constructing, planning and design, network development, and now we have to be real estate experts as well. So just imagine a small regional airport has to fulfill all these tasks and has to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And this is actually to the job. And now, when we talk about all the changes that now affecting the airport business model, just think, if you change one item in this big set of tasks and responsibility, there's always an impact on the other. So we try to automatize the check-in. We try to make check-in quicker and more digital. But what happens with the time the passenger wins, with the additional dwell time of the passenger, if we do not have an offer on the airside waiting lounge, we just create more waiting space. We need more waiting space. And waiting space is much more costly on the airside than queuing space at check-in. So all the things we do has to be assessed with regards to the impact on the other parts of the airport business model. So and this is the point. We always have to align this in order to get the right set and the right combination of this 1 million different options an airport manager has. Next slide, please. So to put it on a very systemic view, an airport normally consists of an airport business. I call it in this slide aviation, and I mean aviation including all the non-aviation business that is related to the airport business. And then now the airports try to get more money out of the system by selling off all the land or renting off all the land the airport has available. So actually exploiting all the resources the airport has in order to increase the revenues. But there are some limitations, of course. Depending on the land available, the real estate business is limited. And even the airport of Amsterdam can hardly, achieve more than 25% of its aviation revenues by real estate business. So this is not a game changer for the airport's business model, just adding real estate activities. We have to combine this. And when we look at the middle sketch, we see that some airports would say, okay, let's look at the profitable parts of the aviation business and let's sacrifice a part of the aviation business that is not as profitable and take these resources and allocate and switch them to the real estate business and make the real estate business a bigger business. Okay, looks good when you have a city airport, when you have an airport with high land value. This could be an approach. But the better approach would be to keep the aviation business at the same level, keep the revenues at the same levels, and try to reduce the costs of the aviation business and try to turn the cost items of aviation into revenue items of real estate. What I refer to is, for instance, safety and security. Aviation business, one of the most highest cost factors is safety and security. And we try to reduce this. But on the other hand, safety and security could be a great USP for an airport's real estate business, selling it to companies that look for access controlled areas, that look for quick firefighting services because they do some research and development. So make the cost item of aviation and turn it to a profitable item or a revenue item in real estate. This would be the art of business planning. The optimum allocation of the available resources by accepting the limits that the airport has. Please, let's go to the next slide, please. But now we have to talk about business modeling. Now we have used and we have optimized our resources, but now we want to increase, we want to make our business bigger, we want to extend our business. So how can we, with a given set of resources, make a bigger business case? This means we have to change the business model of the airport. We have to change maybe the role of an airport as a stakeholder in the aviation, or even better, in the mobility industry. So the next slide, please. And here we come back to intermodality. I call it mobility in this case. So if an airport or the stakeholders or the public shareholders will invest in the mobility, so increase or improve the accessibility of an airport, this would boost the industry, this would boost the airport side, this would boost the business model of the airport without without actually putting without exploiting more resources. So we have to work on the connectivity. But what we learn when we want to reach an airport means if you ask the bus companies, the coach companies, and all these different companies that do some mobility service in the region, if you ask to come to the airport, they say, no, there is no critical mass. We have a lack of critical mass. So airports try to increase their aviation network, their frequencies, the destinations, in order to get better accessibility, to get more mobility. We have to do it the other way around. Invest in mobility, then we get the critical mass, we can extend our catchment area, and this would be the basis for better aviation development. And of course, better accessibility means better higher real estate values. So we have increased our real estate value now by making the airport as an USP for real estate, being a safe, secure, access controlled area. And now we have increased accessibility, so the real estate business will even have a higher value than before. And the next step then will be that the airport looks really closely what resources are really needed at the airport. So for instance, baggage handling, about 30% of the terminal space are dedicated to baggage handling. There are better ways to handle baggage and to treat baggage as only at the airport side. We can use places in the region. So we can really concentrate all the activities on the profit-making parts of the industry. And with mobility, the airport will be perceived as a mobility, as a connectivity center platform of the region, rather than only an airport, which would then increase the acceptance in the public, because now it's for the benefit of everybody, because you don't have to fly to benefit from the mobility solution the airport provides. Next slide, please. Hello. Next slide, please. Sorry for, okay. So this is our job. When we do our business model, we have 3 pillars, we have 3 items. We have to align them: real estate, mobility, in airport, in order to get a more flexible resource management. Because whether we have the airport business is dominant, or the real estate business is dominant, or any other form of mobility is dominant, our business model is flexible enough to react to this, and the airport benefits from any change that happens. This is one job we have to do. So we have to make the change to our friend and not to our enemy. And we have to connect the airport from a typical infrastructure operator to a connectivity hub, supporting the connectivity of the region. So this is my counter speech to the very pessimistic approach of John Grant, and I hope that this will trigger now all the airports to reconsider their business model. So the next slide, please. So please do 3 things: consolidate your data, find out the drivers, find out the revenue and cost relation that is at the moment, that happens at the moment. What are the profitable segments? What are the not profitable business units? Once you have a common framework for airport development and business development, you can go into the facilitation mode and really work so bringing a change into your business model. And once you know, and once you have assessed all the options that are possible for your airport, you can slowly activate the low-hanging fruits and then go on and convert the airport into a totally different company than it may have been before COVID. You can download the paper from a web page, but not today. It takes a little bit more time. But at that time, thank you very much for your attention. But it's always nice to get on my website, because I have a airport profitability blog running, and I'm always looking forward to discussing these items with you. So thank you very much and have a good day.